Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salute to the bishops and elders who rule well. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is your brother Yaramia from GMS Jamaica Camp, and I'm here with a lesson and prayer now through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, that this will be an edifying one unto the body. And the name of this one is the Beast Data Centers. That's the name of the lesson. Praying I hope to be an edifying one. And let me just start by playing this clip. Fair use, fair use. This video is only for educational purpose only. So listen keenly.
Every video you stream and every file stored in the cloud exists somewhere physically. Behind the internet is a network of buildings filled with servers, electrical infrastructure, and cooling systems working continuously to keep data moving. These buildings are called data centers. In this video series, we are going to explain how data centers actually work from a mechanical and electrical perspective, focusing on the systems that keep servers powered, cooled, and operating without interruption. This first video provides the big picture overview. We will explain what a data center does, why these facilities consume so much energy, and why mechanical and electrical systems are the most critical part of the building. In the following videos, we will begin breaking down each system in greater detail. At its simplest level, a data center is a facility designed to store, process, and distribute digital information. Inside the building are rows of servers, which are specialized computers responsible for storage, computing, and network traffic. Unlike office computers that operate intermittently, servers operate continuously. They run 24 hours a day, every day of the year. This creates an important reality. Servers consume large amounts of electricity, and nearly all of that electrical energy eventually becomes heat. While most people think of data centers as IT facilities, from an engineering perspective, they are really energy conversion buildings. Electricity goes in, computing work is performed, and heat comes out. The entire facility exists to manage that process safely and reliably. Every data center, regardless of size, must solve three fundamental problems. The first is continuous power. Servers cannot simply shut down when power is lost. Even brief interruptions can cause data loss or service outages, affecting thousands or even millions of users. As a result, power systems must remain available even when equipment fails or utility power is interrupted. The second problem is continuous cooling. Because servers generate heat constantly, cooling systems must also operate continuously. If cooling stops, temperatures can rise quickly, forcing equipment to reduce performance or shut down to protect itself. Cooling in a data center is not about comfort. It is about equipment survival. The third problem is continuous operation. Data centers are designed for uptime. Maintenance, equipment failures, and repairs must occur without interrupting operation. This requirement is what drives the heavy use of redundancy throughout both mechanical and electrical systems. There are various levels of redundancy and industry tier classifications used to describe reliability and uptime expectations, and those concepts will be covered in a later video in this series. Although data centers appear complex, most of the infrastructure falls into three major system groups. The first group is electrical systems. Electrical infrastructure brings power into the building and distributes it safely to server equipment. This includes utility connections, switchgear, backup power systems, and power distribution equipment. The goal is simple. Power must always be available. The second group is mechanical cooling systems. Mechanical systems remove the heat generated by servers. Depending on the facility, this may include chillers, cooling towers, pumps, air handling units, or specialized cooling equipment located directly at the server racks. The objective is to keep equipment operating within safe temperature ranges at all times. The third group is controls and monitoring systems. Controls tie electrical and mechanical systems together into one operating environment. These systems monitor temperatures, power usage, equipment status, and alarms, allowing the facility to automatically respond to changing conditions or equipment failures. In modern data centers, controls and monitoring are just as important as the physical equipment itself. Data centers are often misunderstood because they look similar to commercial buildings from the outside, but operationally they are very different. In an office building, occupancy changes throughout the day. Cooling loads rise and fall, and equipment cycles on and off. In a data center, electrical loads are constant. Cooling demand is continuous, and systems rarely shut down. Failure tolerance is also very different.
I could start right there. So it's safe to say that data centers are one of, or if not the biggest contributor towards global warming. But the so-called white man is not gonna stop it, because this data center technology is a major part of the digital public infrastructure which he is setting up, globally. So it's a major part. So I went to chat GPT and asked, what is the purpose of data center? Alright, so what is the purpose of a data center? It says, instant answer: a data center is a facility used to store, manage, and process a large amount of data and computer systems. Its main purpose is to support digital services and operations. Here's what a data center is used for. 1. Data storage. It stores huge volume of data like files, databases, videos, and applications, so they can be accessed anytime. 2. Processing information. Data centers run powerful servers that process data for websites, apps, and business systems like banking, e-commerce, etc. So these data centers, they are very important to this current system that we are in, the fourth industrial revolution. These data centers are very important for your e-commerce to take place, for your apps, your Facebook, or your metaverse, your X, your Instagram. All of these things need data centers to function. E-commerce, electronic buying and selling, right? So point 3 now says hosting applications and websites. They host websites and software so users can access them over the internet, for example, Google, Facebook, or Netflix. Point 4, backup and recovery. They keep backup copies of data to prevent loss and allow recovery in case of system failure or disasters. Point 5, networking and communication. They enable communication between systems, users, and devices across the world through networks. Right? So they are a major part of this global connection, this global connection to the internet. Right? So point 6 now says cloud computing. Modern data centers power cloud services. Right? So modern data centers power cloud services like AWS, Microsoft, right, Google Cloud, allowing users to store and access data remotely instead of on personal devices. Right? So access data remotely instead of on personal devices. In simple terms, a data center is like the brain. and storage hub. Like the brain and a storage hub of the internet, and many businesses where all digital information is kept safe and made accessible. Boom. Alright, so I ask this question: how many data centers exist on the planet? It says there is no exact official count because different organizations define data centers differently. But current industry estimates put the number at roughly 1,000 to 12,000 operational data centers worldwide. Alright, so it says some widely cited estimated include about 11,800 data centers globally, according to a 2025 analyst by the Brookings Institution. Right. So let me just jump down to right there. It says the country with the most data centers is the United States, which is what Mr. Babylon the Great, which is Rome all over again. And these data centers, they are a major part of the beast digital infrastructure to accommodate the mark of the beast, which is a tiny microchip which will be used to buy and sell, right, in the new world order which is coming. Right, so it says with more than 5,400 facilities, which is nearly half of the world total. So America alone have nearly half of the world's total estimated digital centers. America have 5,400 facilities. Right? So it says large concentrations also exist in Germany, the United Kingdom, China, France. Right? So these facilities range from small enterprise server rooms to giant hyperscale campuses operated by cloud providers like AWS, Microsoft, Azure, and Google Cloud. Alright, so I ask one more question. It says, what is processed data called? Processed data is usually called information. So all of this data collecting, after they process it, they have information. And this is what the so-called white man desire, to have information on everybody on the planet. Alright, so it says processed data is usually called information. Data equal raw facts or numbers without context. Example 25, 30, 28. Processed data / or information equal data that has been organized or analyzed to become meaningful. Let me jump down. Alright, so it says boom. Where do I want to go? It says in computing data centers, processing data can also produce insights, useful conclusions, analytics. Right? So it says analytics, analyze trends or patterns, results / output, the final process outcome. So the most common answer is processed data equal information. And this is what the so-called white man wants. Information on everybody on the planet. Why? Because he wants to be like the Heavenly Father Yahweh and his only begotten Son. He wants to be omniscient. Right? And omniscient means what? Knowing everything or having complete, unlimited knowledge, right? Someone that is omniscient is what? Someone that is aware of all facts, past, present, and future. And this is what the so-called white man wants. He wants to be like the Heavenly Father Yahweh and his only begotten Son. and the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son knows everything. Let me get Psalms 139. Just to show you that Yahweh knows everything. The Heavenly Father has declared the end from the beginning. Henceforth there is nothing hid from the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Such a thing does not exist. Alright? What's wrong with the Psalms? Psalms 139. Let's go. So Psalms 139 and verse 1, it says, a Psalm of David. O Lord, thou hast searched me and know me. So the Heavenly Father know our love, our minds. Thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understand my thought afar off. Yeah, God, the Heavenly Father is the one who programs us ultimately, so He knows everything about us. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. Verse 4 now says, for there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord Yahweh, Bahashami Hawashai, thou knowest it all together. Alright? So we can't hide anything from Yahweh, Bahashami Hawashai. And the so-called white man wants to be like Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, knowing everything. This is why this devil have these data centers all over the earth. This is why this devil is setting up this system to gain knowledge on the people, on the earth, on every living thing. Let's get 1 John chapter 3. Yeah, that's where I want to go. So 1 John, John. Alright, so 1 John chapter 3 and verse 20. Straight to the point. 1 John 3 and 20 says, for if our heart condemn us, Yahweh is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things. So Yahweh, Bahashami Hawashai, knoweth all things. And the so-called white man wants to be like the Heavenly Father, knowing all things. This is why this devil is setting up all of these data centers around the earth. America alone have 5,400 data centers. Why? Because they want data. They want to be like the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son. And if you never know, the base is NATO and the EU, which is the revival of the western leg of the Roman Empire. And they are the ones running the earth. And this current world is governed by the red Hebrew Edomites, the descendants of Esau, Edom. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 13. It says, neither is there any creature that is not manifest in His sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of Him with whom we have to do. Right? So with Him we have to do. So nothing is hid from Yahweh, Bahashami Hawashai. All creatures are naked and open unto the eyes of Him with whom we have to do. So Yahweh knows everything about us, down to the number of hair on our head. Let me get Matthew 10. Alright? So Matthew 10, let's go to that. So there's nothing hid from Yahweh, Bahashami Hawashai. So Matthew 10 and verse 29, it says, are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. So, Yahweh Shemel shall control everything. A bird don't die unless the Lord say yes. And a sparrow is a very small bird. And the Lord control everything. The issues of life and death comes from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. So verse 30 now says, but the very ears on your head are all numbered. So Yahweh Shemel Shai know everything about us. And the so-called white man wants to be like the Heavenly Father Yahweh. You can read Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 2 to verse 3. And verse 3 mainly tell you that there he is wiser than Daniel. There is nothing that is hid from him. You can read Psalm 64, it tell you that the heart of every one of them is deep. You can read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and read from verse 3 to verse 4. Tell you that, the son of perdition have been revealed, which is the so-called white man. Right? And, he wants to be like the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Read verse 4. So I pray and I hope that this was edifying listening to the body. Shalom until the next time.